All right, let's step right into the ring for what is shaping up to be the ultimate heavyweight title fight in the AI world. In one corner, we've got the reigning, undisputed champion for developers, Claude, specifically the powerhouse that is Claude 3.5. And in the other corner, a brand new challenger straight out of Japan that has the entire tech world absolutely buzzing. I'm talking about Sakana AI, specifically their Fugaku model. The claims being made about this newcomer are, well, they're frankly staggering. Today, we're going to look right past the marketing hype and put those claims to the ultimate test in this explainer.
So the big question floating around all the developer forums right now is simply this. Can a new Japanese AI truly dethrone Claude 3.5? We hear about these so-called Claude killers or GPT killers practically every other week, right? But this time, the benchmark data actually has people paying serious attention. But as you and I both know, what happens in a sterile testing environment doesn't always translate to the messy reality of actually writing code. So we're putting Sakana through an absolute gauntlet to see if it can really take the crown.
Okay, let's dive into this. Here's our roadmap. First, the benchmark hype. Second, accessing the challenger. Third, the 3D environment showdown. Fourth, the landing page test. Fifth, the Flutter weather app test. And finally, number 6, the final verdict.
Section 1. The benchmark hype. On-paper claims.
Driven by the leaderboards over on OpenRouter, the expectations here are massive. On paper, Sakana Fugaku claims to flat-out beat Claude 3.5 across critical metrics. We're talking coding, reasoning, and executing complex tasks. You know, this isn't positioned as some lightweight experimental alternative. It's a paid, premium model promising Titan-level automation. The stats absolutely promise a heavyweight, but let's see what it actually takes to use it in the real world.
Section 2. Accessing the challenger. Overcoming the language barrier.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is getting to the starting line actually requires a little bit of navigation, mainly because the model's native interface is entirely in Japanese. So you open the chat page, hit the Google Translate icon for English, but here is the most crucial step, that effort slider. You have to manually crank that thing all the way up to maximum to ensure the model uses its absolute full processing power for our coding tests.
Section 3, Round 1, 3D environment, or as we like to call it, the HTML jungle.
For our first real-world proving ground, we ask both AIs to generate a 3D HTML jungle environment, complete with trees, ground, water, and rocks. Now, Sakana was incredibly fast, spitting out code in seconds, but the output was extremely basic. It gave us this foggy lake and some trees, but it completely ignored the rocks and the detailed grass. On the flip side, Claude 3.5 completely dominated. It meticulously followed our multi-layered prompt, adding stunning water reflections, logs, and it even threw in flying birds. Total knockout for Claude on this one.
Just to provide a bit more context here, we ran the exact same prompt through Gemini as well. And honestly, even Gemini delivered significantly better environmental details than Sakana, totally nailing the realistic reflections and rock placement. This conclusively proves that our challenger seriously struggled with this specific complex rendering task, which really contradicts those sky-high benchmark scores we saw earlier.
Section 4, Round 2, Landing Page, the agency website. So, how does Sakana handle the absolute bread and butter of standard web development? We asked it to build a modern agency landing page, and wow, it performed beautifully here. The output was a remarkably clean, fully responsive user interface with literally no structural flaws in the code. For practical, everyday UI and UX utility, Sakana proved itself to be a highly capable and incredibly fast tool.
Section 5, Round 3, Weather App, the ultimate Flutter test.
To really push this model to its limits, we demanded a fully functional mobile weather application built entirely from scratch using Flutter. Sakana generated the code, we pasted it in, and it compiled successfully on the very first try. And this brilliantly illustrates its true power, because the kicker here is that it successfully integrated a real-time weather API. We're talking actually searching for cities like Indore and Bhopal and accurately pulling live wind speed and temperatures, proving it can build a highly logical, functioning back-end connection.
To quote the source analysis directly, this is not fake data, but a completely real working application. Now, you might be wondering, why does this matter so much for you as a developer? Well, generating actual production-ready code with live API integration proves that this model can dramatically speed up real-world developer workflows. I mean, it literally takes you from a blank screen to a working prototype that actually talks to the internet in a matter of seconds. That is a real game changer.
Section 6, the final verdict,
hype versus reality.
After putting this powerhouse through the ringer, it is finally time to separate the benchmark claims from reality. So the crucial point is that Sakana Fugaku is incredibly fast and is genuinely excellent at standard practical coding, like those agency websites and API-integrated Flutter apps. But for intricate accuracy and complex detailing, it just cannot dethrone Claude 3.5 right now. Sakana is a fantastic tool that will absolutely evolve, but Claude 3.5 remains the undisputed king of precision.
We just saw a model that supposedly crushes top-tier AI on paper completely miss the mark on a 3D environment, yet flawlessly execute a live mobile app. So it really makes you think, if these highly touted benchmarks don't actually match the real-world results developers experience, are we measuring the true power of AI all wrong? It's a question you should definitely keep in mind the next time you see a flashy headline about the next